Yeah. Are we going live in the Kellie kitchen? Hi, everyone. We're going to wait for just a few seconds to get everybody on board. I think my camera is a little bit better this week. I don't know. Last week it was super foggy. We are still in pumpkin season. So we have got some super delicious things to share with you tonight. So we are going to make, not with this, but we are going to make my keto pumpkin soup. Super easy, like on the table in 20-30 minutes. And it's great. You can use lots of pantry items. We're going to make my focaccia bread, which is a low carb focaccia bread. But tonight we're going to add a little feta cheese to it. So it's going to give it a little bit of a tang, which is great with that sort of sweet soup. And then we're just going to make some simple roasted pecans with chocolate. So there's going to be like little nut clusters. We're going to get started on the focaccia bread because that's got to go into the oven. I've got the oven going at 400 degrees. Hi, everyone. Hi, Bernie. This pumpkin person. It's so great to see everybody. It's starting to get cold here. I know it's not super cold, Southern California, but for us, it's fun to sort of get into sweater weather. I'm going to get started on the focaccia bread. This is 2.5 cups of mozzarella cheese and 3 tablespoons of cream cheese, and we're going to melt that together in the microwave. I already got it started. This is 2 rounds of like a minute each, and I'm going to put it in there. Let's go for 1 more minute in the microwave. In my bowl here, I have almond flour, baking powder, garlic powder, salt, and then the wild card in this recipe, which is kind of optional, is oat flour. And oat flour is not, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. It's oat fiber. Oat fiber, not oat flour, oat fiber. And that adds like a really nice bread texture. It is kind of optional. If you don't have this and don't want to get this, you could get psyllium husk, or you could just omit it altogether, and that would probably be fine too. But there's only 2 tablespoons of oat fiber in this recipe. So those are our dry ingredients. And then I have 2 room temperature eggs. Oh, I just cracked that one. Good thing I didn't drop it on the floor. And now our cheese is nicely melted. See that? So this is kind of like a fathead dough, but we're adding baking powder to it, and we're adding the oat fiber to it, so it's going to give it a little bit of a rise. And normally this bread, I'm going to just dump my dry ingredients right in there, and I'm going to get started with my eggs in there. I'm going to mix that all together with a really sturdy wooden spoon. So normally this recipe for my focaccia bread is with rosemary and Kalamata olive. So it's delicious, absolutely delicious that way. I just figured since we were doing pumpkin that we would add the tang of feta cheese to the recipe. So remember when we make fathead dough, it comes together, it's a little tough, but as soon as you really work the cheese into, and the egg into the almond flour, you get a nice dough together. So I wish I had like a top-down camera so you could see how this is coming together. You can even wet your hands if you wanted to. Hi, Michelle and Sandra. Good to see you guys. You could wet your hands if you want it, dampen your hands a little bit, and you could knead this with your hands. I am going to add rosemary to this, but instead of the Parmesan cheese and the Kalamata olives, I'm going to put the feta right on top. I think I already said I have my oven going at 400 degrees. And I'm hoping that this is distracting you from election night tomorrow night. Of course, everybody's watching that, but maybe we need a little break. And so, anyways, we're just going to make some fun, yummy, heartwarming, light recipes for you guys to follow on your keto and low carb journey. So there is my dough. I've mixed that all together. I got some fresh rosemary. Smells so good. So this is kind of cool. It's a live living rosemary plant. So it's got the roots and the dirt right at the bottom, and you just sort of keep that wet, and it's nice and soft, which I love. So I'm going to pour my rosemary right in there. And then here's my feta cheese. We're going to put that on we're going to put it on the top after I get this all mixed together. And the way that I like to press this into the pan is by wetting my hands or moistening my hands with a little bit of olive oil. So I'll do that in a second. I got a really fun call today, or fun email today. I'm going to be a guest on Dr. Tro's show. He has a live show. It's on Tuesdays for his patients. Tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm just going to be an observer. It's open to the public, and anybody can go to it for the first Tuesday of the month. But next Tuesday, I'm going to go on and I'm going to talk about keto cooking for Thanksgiving. So that should be fun. I am already sort of starting to think. Of course, I didn't put enough olive oil on my hand. So I'm just going to press this into a parchment-lined 8x8 or 9x11 pan, and get all the stuff off of my fingers, get it all the way into the corners. This makes about, I say 16 or 15 or 16 pieces, about 3 grams net carb each piece. And this is great as leftovers too, and it's just wonderful to go with your soup. You know how you always sort of want like a little piece of bread on the side with your soup. So we're going to have this tonight with our pumpkin soup and with a salad. So there you go. I'm not going to make the salad on camera. You guys know how to make salad. It's so hard for me to get salad recipes on the website because everybody likes different things in the salad. It's hard to measure salad and lettuce and all that sort of stuff. But gosh, it's so fun to see everybody. If you're this video will go on and live on forever. So if you're watching in replay, say something like I'm watching in replay so that I can give you a shout out. I read all the comments and I go through after the fact. So if you're watching this after, you can still ask questions and I'll still answer. If you guys have any questions, please ask them and I'll go through at the end and try to answer as many as I possibly can. So there is our rosemary focaccia bread in our pan. But I'm going to take, this is about a half a cup of feta cheese, and I'm just going to sprinkle on top. And feta cheese is a really good cheese for this because it tends to hold its shape, and it gives it a nice tang, but it tends to hold its shape, and it'll give like almost like a little bit of a crusty texture on top. So I'm going to put this into a 400-degree oven. The recipe says 15 to 18 minutes. My oven, as we all know, is the littlest, strongest little workhorse in California. So it goes for about 18 minutes in my oven. But just check it at 15 and see if it works, if that is done for you when you make this recipe. Oh, look, there's Lisa from New Hampshire. It's so fantastic to see everybody from all around the world. It's been, this is the new normal, right? No, like when quarantine started, it was like, we were like, oh, we're on week 3 quarantine. I have no idea what week it is. And this really is the new normal for us. I actually happened to go into the office today for the first time in probably 5 months. So it was a little bit of a hectic day, but we're going to get started on pumpkin soup. So this recipe is super easy. You basically, this is the main ingredient, and it's just pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling. Pumpkin pie filling is sweet and adds lots of sugar and all that sort of stuff, but this is just pure pumpkin. The ingredients, pumpkin, that's it. So we're going to use a can of this, which is about 2 cups. I've got 2 tablespoons of butter in my heavy stock pot. Get my coffee out of the way. And we're going to get that going. I have a cup of chopped onion. I'm not going to put that in yet. I've got 3 cloves of garlic. And these are my spices and seasonings. So all the normal stuff, salt, pepper, sage. But the other ingredient that you can get at a supermarket is just pumpkin pie spice. It doesn't have any sweetener in it, but it's like cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves. I have a recipe, and you can make your own pumpkin pie spice, and I make it in batches, and I just keep it in a jar in my pantry. So it's cloves, allspice, cinnamon. So if you don't want to buy McCormick's pumpkin pie spice, you can make your own, and there you go. So that gives it our little fall flavor of pumpkin. So I'll just use this. So there is my butter. We'll get this going. We're going to get our onions to start to soften a little bit. And this soup really, like, you can, it's one of the fastest soups that you could possibly imagine. And we're only going to let it simmer for like 10 minutes on the stovetop. So while those onions are starting to soften a little bit, let me show you. So yesterday I posted on Instagram and a bunch of Facebook groups and stuff, but I wanted to just show you guys these are just called my pepperoni pizza snacks. And they are one of my easiest, I burnt that one a little bit, sorry. Easiest, super simple. It's just a piece of provolone cheese, and I get the kind that's in the already pre-sliced in the, I don't know, just a regular cheese section, not the fancy cheese. And this is thin sliced provolone cheese, and I just put a piece of this with a couple of pepperoni pieces, and it goes into a 350, 400 degree oven for like 5 minutes. There you go. And usually we don't have leftovers, but these will go into a little Ziploc bag, and they're just a nice little snack to nosh on if you wanted to add 1 or 2 of these to your lunch or whatever. But those are my pepperoni pizza snacks, and the recipe is on the website. Most of the recipes can be found at the Kellie Kitchen, and it's Kellie with an IE, the Kellie Kitchen. And so, yeah, go there, and if you don't see these right on the main page, you can just search pepperoni pizza or pepperoni. My onions are nice and soft. I'm going to toss in, I have 3 cloves of garlic. We'll give those just a nice little stir. We'll get them going. This is really one of those dump kind of soups. So the only thing that we're not putting in now, there's 2 things we're not putting in, is the cream and the xanthan gum. And we're going to put those in at the end after we blend everything and get it nice and velvety smooth. But let me show you. Okay, so here is our pumpkin. This is just this. I put it in here so you can see. This is a 15-ounce can, and it's about 2 cups. You can get a bigger can of pumpkin. There was a run on pumpkin today. I got the last 3 cans at the supermarket. I can't even believe it. Oh, look, there's Jane and Maureen. God, it's so great to see everybody. Okay, our onions are nice and soft. We're going to put our pumpkin in. We're going to add 4 cups. This is 4 cups of chicken stock. I did not have any homemade chicken stock, so this was just better than bouillon or bouillon cubes. You can get Kettle on Fire, you can get canned, you can make your own. I go through chicken stock, so much chicken stock that I didn't have any. So I just keep the Better Than Bouillon. That's a brand that I like to use. And I just keep it in my fridge. Let me show you what it looks like. So you get it in the soup section, and it's on the top shelf. And it's kind of like a paste. And it comes in roasted vegetable, it comes in beef, it comes in roasted chicken, regular chicken. And it's just like a paste. And it's called chicken base. And you add it to hot water. And it makes really flavorful chicken stock. So our pumpkin and onion mixture is gonna start warming up. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of our pumpkin pie spice, black pepper, sage, salt. I'm gonna put that right in there. The flavors of fall, so delicious. Now remember that pumpkin pie spice is not sweet. You're gonna get your sweetness from the pumpkin, the actual pumpkin, and it's really more of a savory soup. I've seen some pumpkin soup recipes where they add sweetener to it, even low carb sweetener. If you want to, you certainly could. I've also seen some people add some cayenne pepper to make it a little bit, have a little bit of a zing to it. But that's not how I make it. We're gonna make it like this. Okay, so we got that. That's gonna come to a boil here, and we're gonna let it simmer for like, I don't know, 10 minutes at the most. And then I'll use my trusty immersion blender. And we'll blend that all up, and then we'll make it nice and creamy and and delicious. So let's get started on my roasted pecans. You can use whole pecans or you can use chopped. I like to use chopped because they're easier to get into the little muffin holes that we're going to put them in. And we're just going to put these in with the focaccia bread for just like 3 or 5 minutes. These so good, but these are raw, so we're gonna give them a little bit of a toast. And the recipe is on the website too. Oh, look who joined me. Hello, Vic. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, so we're just gonna put those on for just a few minutes, and the nuts are going into the oven to do a little bit of roasting. While those are roasting, I have a bag of Lily's chocolate chips. This is 9 ounces or 1.5 cups. Hi, Vic. And I just mix it with a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to do quick increments in the microwave. We're going to start with 30 seconds, and then we'll go 15 seconds because you don't want to overcook the chocolate because it'll get clumpy, and we want it to be sort of soft. So we will go 30 seconds there. This is just starting to come to a little bit of a simmer, but we want that to boil. So good. So what's going on with you guys? Let's take a look. Do we have any questions? Where's everybody fun? Oh, Sandra wants my apron. You know, I think this apron is available on Amazon. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll post it for you guys. Let's see what else. Who else came to see me? Phyllis. Oh, and Dina from Louisiana. Thanks for joining me. So great to see you. Okay, so we just did a quick 30 seconds. Our chocolate is starting to melt. You guys see this? We're going to put this in for another 15 seconds. Whoops. We'll let that do its thing. next week on Dr. Tro's town hall meeting, it's at 5:30 Eastern time, 2:30 West Coast time. We're going to be talking all things Thanksgiving low carb. So I'm going to be sharing a keto-friendly cranberry sauce and cauliflower mashed potatoes or cauliflower mash. And then we'll do some sort of, maybe some sort of like a green bean casserole. And we just really want to give options for people for the holidays so that you either don't feel left out or you don't fall off the wagon. I'm going to add just a little bit more olive oil to this. I do not want to burn these. We'll get those melted in there. My pumpkin soup has just come to a boil. Can you see that? I'm going to turn it down to a simmer, and let's put the lid right on there. So that's good. Okay, so that's going in there for like 30 seconds. And now I'm going to grab my nuts. Perfect. And I kind of forgot to turn the timer on for the focaccia, so we're just gonna have to watch the clock, okay? So I don't think it'll burn. We're all here, and I'll just keep popping my head in there to make sure. So one thing that you can do to garnish your pumpkin soup is to put pumpkin. These are called pepitas, which is pumpkin seeds without the hull on them, and that's just sort of an extra little. It's just an extra way to jazz up your soup, give it a little oomph. Okay, my chocolate is really starting to get beautifully melted. Now, when you're doing your clusters, you can do it one of two ways. You can either mix all of your nuts into the chocolate and then just spoon it into, you can spoon it into your silicone muffin tin. If you do not have a silicone muffin tin, don't despair. You can use just little paper cups inside a tin. Now, if you only have a tin, you have to use paper liners because they will stick, and you need to be able to pop them out of the liner there. So my chocolate is almost fully melted. And again, there's two ways to do this. You can either put your nuts right into each one of these little holes like this, and then you can drizzle the chocolate on top, or you can do it like I'm going to do it, which is I'm going to dump all of the nuts right inside the chocolate, and I'm going to coat them completely. So where is my, I don't want to burn myself. So I'm going to just very gently, the nuts are still warm, so they'll continue melting the chocolate. And actually, I like doing it this way because then every part of the nut is fully covered with the chocolate. So I got those all in there. Now I'm going to use, this is nice and cooled now, but I'm going to use my cookie sheet to place my silicone. Because see how floppy this is? I'm going to put that right on top of my cookie sheet for stability. Okay, check it out. So now I'm coating all of the nuts with the chocolate, and we're going to get every bit of the nuts with a little bit of chocolate on them. You can even add more nuts. I like to use roasted pecans, but you could do macadamia nuts, you could do almonds, you could do walnuts. I would refrain from doing cashews because cashews are really hard to overeat and they have the most carbs of everything. So I try not to do that. So I'm going to take my little my little ice cream scooper. See my little ice cream scooper? And I'm just going to scoop into each one of these little muffin cups. Can you guys see that? Yes, I think you can. And I do this just because it's sort of like an easier, this isn't one of my favorite tools. I don't even know where I got this. Oh, it's KitchenAid. What do you know? You can probably get it at Target or, online, but you just want to put your nuts, just a little tiny scoop in each one. We're going to put this in. You can either put it in the refrigerator or in the freezer, and they will all get solid, clumped together, and then each one of these is like a little candy, and it's great for, you can even give these out as like little keto gifts, or but I keep them in the freezer, and you don't eat them all the time, but just 1 or 2 at a time. If you can do that, then I highly, highly recommend that. It's, oh, I'm kind of making a mess here. Okay, so I'm almost done here. I'm just going to scoop these on here. Because this is live television and it's just me, I don't have multiple things ready, but you guys get it. I mean, this is like real-time cooking, and I can have full dinner on the table in probably like half hour, 40 minutes. And Peter helps do all the cleanup. And if you have other people in your house that don't do the cooking, please enlist them in doing some form of helping you, because it's a lot of work and everybody needs to lend a helping hand. Okay, these are looking really delicious. You could even sprinkle a little bit of coconut on top, or you could sprinkle a little bit of flaked sea salt. That would be really amazing. And almost done here. These are going to go into my freezer, and these will be done by the time everything else is done. There we go. I have a little bit of extra in there, so I'll put those in another one. But this is what our roasted chocolate covered pecans look like. And when these come out of the freezer, they'll be like a little candy. Super delish. Way, way, way good. Okay. Our focaccia bread looks flippin' amazing. And that's going to be done probably in about 6 minutes. Let's take a look at our pumpkin soup. Fantastic. Okay, so our pumpkin soup has been simmering probably about 6 to 10 minutes. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. I'm just going to give it a little taste. I just want to give it a little taste so I can see if I need to do any sort of seasoning. I burnt the crap out of my mouth the other day, so wow. So good. No salt needed, no extra salt needed. I'm going to use my fancy dancy immersion blender. I think this is another one of my favorite tools. Only like 25 bucks or 30 bucks. And I don't think they make pink anymore. Maybe they do. But this one has a safety thing on the top. So I'm not totally in love with this safety thing, but it's a good thing so that I don't chop my fingers off. I'm going to turn the heat off. The simmering has stopped, and I am just going to very gently, it's very hot, I'm going to puree the onions and the garlic, and those flavors are going to meld into the pumpkin soup, but it's also going to add a little bit of thickness to your soup here. So we'll just mix that all together. And as soon as I'm done with this, we will add the cream. Okay. So there is our pumpkin soup. So good. I almost want to turn the camera off and like just go have dinner right now. Who is that said hi? Someone just said hi to me. Who is that? I'm not sure. Oh, it's Darcy. How are you, Darce? Good to see you. Darcy's like, She makes all of my recipes. She goes and she finds them on the website, and then she like posts them, and like, I'm so proud of her for being so adventurous and trying stuff. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so our pumpkin soup is getting nice and thick and rich. And before I add the cream, this is kind of an optional. It's in the recipe, but if you guys don't know about xanthan gum is it's a vegetable fiber, and it's the way that they ferment it. I guess in the 60s they figured they discovered that it created this fiber that actually thickens soups and thickens stuff. And so you'll find xanthan gum in everything. It usually comes in a bag. I just transferred it into this, and you just add a little tiny bit. You do not want to add a lot of xanthan gum. Oh, I dropped something. Oh well. You do not want to add a lot of xanthan gum because it tends to get slimy or gloppy. So you just do just a quarter of a teaspoon, very, very, very little. And we are going to, you can use a fork or use a spoon. I like to use a whisk because you don't want to get any sort of clumps, and you just sort of sprinkle it around like pixie dust. And that will thicken up over time. It doesn't have a flavor. To me, I don't taste any sort of flavor, and it just adds a really nice, thickness, just a little bit of xanthan gum. So that was a quarter of a teaspoon. Now I'm going to add a cup of heavy cream, and we're going to heat the cream through the pumpkin soup. And you guys, that's it. That is our pumpkin soup. So very quickly, I'm going to go check our focaccia bread, and then I'm going to taste this, and then we're going to be done. Can you even believe it? This went so fast. This is too exciting for words. This focaccia bread is so beautiful. I have to see if it's actually even done. I think it is done. But look at our focaccia bread. This is rosemary with feta cheese, low carb focaccia bread. So this, everyone's gonna be fighting over this at dinner time. I'm gonna, I wish I could cut this for you right now, but I'm gonna let it rest. And the reason I use parchment paper is because once it's cooled down a little bit, it'll be really easy to pull out of the, pan. But this is like a big time favorite in our house. And now I just improvised and added the feta cheese because I thought it would be a nice touch with the pumpkin soup. And I am a huge fan, and that might even get a special picture, I think. I'm going to do just a quick, broil for 1 minute. I'm going to show you what our soup looks like. We're going to get a nice little brown crisp right on the top of that focaccia bread. Let's take a taste of our pumpkin. This is pumpkin. Can you see? Keto pumpkin soup. Wow. So heartwarming, delicious, and it's like perfect for the fall. Wow, really, really good. And that touch of cream just adds like the nicest little bit to it. So let me grab my focaccia. So got a nice crisp on it. And you guys, we are done. You can add the pumpkin seeds to the top of your soup. You can add another drizzle of cream. You can add a couple sprinkles of feta cheese. How is that not amazing food? Like, why wouldn't anybody want to be keto at all times? Low carb, delicious food to be had at all times. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to go through and answer all questions. And if you have any questions, you can add them now. You can add them later. You can find all the recipes on the Kellie Kitchen, Kellie with an IE, thekellykitchen.com. And let me know if you make any of these things or if you have any suggestions. Next week, we're going to be doing lots of Thanksgiving style desserts and Thanksgiving style things. We'll probably do my cranberry cheesecake bars. Those are a big hit, and we'll just make some other really fun, delicious things. So thank you for watching. I will see you next week. Bye.